Well, guys, what's going on? We got the Hunter Biden laptop. We got a lot of news and a lot of exposure. I've been talking a lot about how God is using this time right now to wake people up. And I'm here in California and I'm spending some time with a buddy of mine. And he is a Christian, but he's not an awakened person. He's a normie is what I call it. And it's funny because we've been discussing just like the topic that's been just across many dinner tables, different conversations that people are having. But what you're seeing right now is the beginning of a lot of things being coming to light, especially in the mainstream media. And so if you, a lot of people don't read mainstream media, but for those that have been reading, I've been getting some messages, and even in particular with this friend that I've been talking to, this person was outraged, and him saying that nobody can, trust New York Times and these mainstream, news articles anymore because the misinformation campaign and the news and Newsweek, they did an opinion piece today about how this was an American information campaign, one of the largest scandals, one of the biggest operations with this Hunter Biden thing being suppressed during the 2020 elections, and just the fact that they covered it up and that there was a concerted effort to be able to sway the opinions of Americans and of the thoughts and just the direction that this nation is having. And so this is nothing new for those like me and many of you guys watching. But why am I doing this video? I'm not trying to toot my horn, pound my chest here, but this is the beginning for which a lot of people in America and across the world, they have to slowly be awakened and reveal these things. People call it red pilling. People call it just different names. But for you to be able to understand and cope with, come to terms with all the things that are happening, election fraud, vaccine efficacy, COVID-19 origins, all these different things, the global cabal, deep state, the existence of sex trafficking, pedophilia, and all these different issues that are going on will help awaken, expose, but more importantly, bring justice to and unite the body of Christ and the people around the world. So it's not some left versus right. It's not some liberal conservative. It's not Republican Democrat. It's not all these different things that are happening. But what God is doing now is he's using all these different things, and especially within the political and the social space, right? Everything happening, even the gender stuff. There's so many gender issues going on right now with the male versus female. You got all this uproar on the female athletics, the male swimmer being put in first place, and people are stepping up. They're stepping up to give attention to the issue for which before a lot of people had brushed it aside and said, oh, it doesn't apply to me. It's no big deal. But these are what I've been saying are the modern day idols. This is the veil that's covering the people to confuse them, to divert them, to dissuade them, to divide them, and all these different tactics. Be aware of Satan's devices, right? And so this is what is happening for many people right now. They're being awakened to how Satan is manipulating them, how Satan is using the modern day times of the internet, of the information and data, the prevalence and the proliferation of all these different mediums that you can engage in social media and traditional outlets and all these different things that are happening. The devil is working hard. He's working hard to get you to turn your attention and your thought away from the truth, away from what's really going on, and to be distracted by these other things, right? And of course, we don't have all the time in the world to research and just get 100%, accuracy and understanding of something, right? But for the major things that are happening in the world, that is turning people to look at something and saying, oh, this is good, but it's really not. Looking at something that's bad and saying it's good, and vice versa. They will call good evil and evil good, right? And all these things are happening in many areas in the news. When I say that the false prophets of this generation is the mainstream media and the news, people don't really understand that. They don't understand until they're presented with the facts. They're presented with what are a consensus view and all these different things. Even the friend that I was talking to, the person said, man, I was skeptical of all these different things, but I'm being more awakened to what's going on. And even with this Hunter Biden scandal and this laptop. And if you guys don't know, just briefly, it's just that back in 2020 and even before this, there was this laptop that was handed over or was dropped off at this repair shop. The guy turned it into the FBI, and a lot of people suppressed it, thinking that it was Russia disinformation. It was a Russian propaganda. It's a hoax. don't turn your attention to it. There's nothing to see here. But of course, during the elections, before the elections, of course, this would have been big news. Trump's been talking about it. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's not new news for those that have been researching and that are attuned to the news, especially the news that people brush under the rug as saying alternative, conspiracy, you name it, whatever term you want to alt-right, all these different QAnon terms, whatever it is that people want to label it. But really, it was factual. It was not based on hunches. It was not based on lack of information. It was that you turned a blind eye to it. Newsweek, I mentioned, did a good article on that today. And many other, in New York Post, many guys that are, this mainstream propaganda, the ones that I've been against, are even those guys are reporting on it. And maybe they're trying to get ahead of the news. They don't want to get swept under the rug like New York Times or many of the other guys are going to be. And again, the mainstream media guys, they're going down. I've given a prophetic word. I've talked about it in many ways, but they're going down, right? And so whether they are going to be rebranded, they're going to be taken over by other people. You got Trump's media, association or group. Many people, right, on the wings trying to get in and really drive actual journalism, actual independent media, actual independent true news, right? And so this is part of the shaking. This is part of the awakening that's happening. And God is using all these things for his good so that he can get people united. He can get people on the same page. He can get people not to be looking at each other as this group versus that group, male versus female, black versus white, Republican versus Democrat, left versus right, QAnon versus non, conspiracy versus not, whatever the thing is, right? And again, there's many different ways that the devil is dividing, seeking to divide you. But what God is doing is he's using all these different things to get you not only to be aware of it, to understand it, to digest it, but then to act accordingly. No more you're going to sit there and say, you know what, this male swimmer and these male athletic things participating in female sports, that's acceptable. No, they're going to step up and they're going to say, I'm going to do something about it. Governor DeSantis of Florida has spoken out against it, right? And many others. And so this is the time for which people are going to get more riled up. They're going to desire accountability. They're going to desire transparency. They're going to desire righteousness, restoration. And this is all being done so that it's not just at your face, right? So Russia, the Ukraine situation, the COVID stuff, the election fraud, many, many other topics are going to be brought to light slowly. And then God's using all of this to turn it around for his good. And so why is it that I'm talking about all these different news? Why is it that I'm talking about these issues and stuff like that? Because God is using these modern day times, the current events of these times, to get you to wake up. It's not about just being in isolation. Hey, we should just have church in our within our four walls. Let's just ignore all these other things that are happening in the world. And it's a coping mechanism for many people because they don't understand it. They don't want to, they're sensitive to it. There's, political, correct. You got to be politically correct. You got to do all these different things. You don't want to ruffle feathers. You don't want to get into touchy, sensitive topics, divisive topics. Some people, God is calling other Christians like myself, many other people, to tackle these issues and to bring to light the truth, to get people ready for what's coming. And guys, even though a lot of people are laughing at these, Christians that are standing up for these issues, a lot of people, they're joking around and they're just, poking fun at people and things like that. God is using this time now, and it might be tough. It might be rough. And many of you guys are in my same boat, but God is showing me and showing many of you that there's a time coming for which a lot of people are going to want to lean on people that have been correct, people that have been talking about it, people that have said, hey, this is what the truth was. It was Russian. It was not Russian propaganda. It was the truth. Hunter Biden's laptop was true. The same goes for many other issues. And guys, I'm trying to get ready for a big future ahead. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to turn back around. Went viral for a lot of the Trump stuff and many other things, but people are going to come around. They're going to say, oh man, I guess there was something here. And I'm also warning many of you that are in the same boat. I know a lot of you guys have your own channels or different, outlets. You have maybe your own focus groups, your own family, community groups, and you're trying your best in doing what you've got to do. But there's going to be a time where a lot more people, they're going to be hungry for truth. They're going to be hungry to lean in and seek understanding for more answers in the coming days and in the coming months. And especially as the restoration of Trump and many other things, the exposure of these issues come to light. And so guys, be ready. I've got to get ready as well. And so it might be a tough time now. We're going to go through some turmoil. You're going to go through some more information warfare. You're going to go through a little bit of stuff in the natural with scarcity I've talked about, with rioting and many other things, right? But people, this is what has to come, right? A lot of ruffling, a lot of just bumping shoulders, and then for that to give way to light, to righteousness, to order, and to unity. So this is a bigger thing, guys. And so guys, be encouraged. A lot of good things are happening right now. A lot of exposure. It looks bad, but again, watch the way that the news spins it. Watch that there's double meaning, that there's layers. Don't take things at face value. Look at who's putting other people under the bus. Look at who's coming out and shouting. Look at who are the white and black hats. Look at who are the turn people, the ones that are in disguise, the ones that are playing parts and things like that. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but all for a greater good and a greater purpose. And guys, even as Trump says, the best is yet to come. But in God's perspective, he's going to get the glory, and the best is yet to come for him, focusing in on him. A lot more evangelism, a lot more people coming to know him, a lot more souls saved, a lot more people having to go through issues, problems, to be able to then stand up and make sure that they see God and the world for what it is. So God bless you guys. Be encouraged. Talk to you guys very soon.